UFC 289 is apparently going to take place in Canada on June 10th, and I'm going to try my best today to solve this mystery because I don't really know what's going to be on this card. I don't really see any fights that are like, oh, that's obviously going to be on a Canadian card, or that's obviously happening in June. The UFC's booked a lot of great fights already, and most of the big names are already booked up, so I'm going to try my best today. Stay tuned for my full card and my full prelims, okay? So opening up this card, I'm going to go to the featherweight division. I wanted to get a banger on this card. I think this would be a really, really cool fight to open the card. I think this would be an absolute war. I'm going to go with Giga Chikadze versus Sadiq Yusuf. This fight was supposed to happen ages ago, back when Corey Sandhagen first fought Song Yudong. This was going to be the co-main event, so I figured neither of these guys have really fought since. I think Sadiq Yusuf fought and got like a 1 minute submission. So he's basically ready to fight. Giga Chikadze was meant to fight Korean Zombie. Korean Zombie pulled out, so these guys are both ready. They haven't fought in a while. I want to see them fight, and I think these two against each other would be an absolute banger. I could definitely see a finish happening either way, but I definitely think this would be just a 3-round beatdown, both ways, just back and forth. Power shots from Sadiq Yusuf, power kicks from Giga Chikadze. And I want to see the wrestling of Sadiq Yusuf against Chikadze as well. I think this would be a really cool matchup to open the card. Definitely giving me Cub Swanson versus Duho Choi vibes. I think this could be a really cool fight. So that's my opener for this Canada card, okay? Good start, good start, good start, okay? Second fight. I decided to go like kind of French with it. So if it's Montreal, it's Toronto, it's not a huge deal. I think there's a lot of French people in Canada. So I think they'll be happy with this card. I'm going to go with a women's flyweight belt. Now, don't click off the video. Hold on, hold on. Hold it up, hold it up. Fuck that. The title picture in this division is very, very murky right now. Obviously, Alexa Grasso just beat Valentina Shevchenko, so that's taking away a title shot from a Blanchfield or a Santos. They're probably going to fight each other. And obviously, Grasso and Shevchenko are going to rematch each other, so that kind of leaves Manon Fiorot in the cold, even though she's the #1 contender in terms of the rankings. She's kind of been left in the cold, so I think we need to get her a fun fight, and I think this is a really cool matchup. There's no bias in this matchup whatsoever. I just want to see Amanda Ribas fight in the UFC. That's what I was gonna finish my sentence. Anyways, I think this would be a fun matchup. Why not? You know, Fiorot's not getting a title shot. Blanchfield's booked, probably gonna get against Santos. Grasso, Shevchenko are fighting each other. Jessica Andrade is, I guess, at flyweight, but I'm thinking she wants to go down to strawweight. So maybe you do Fiorot versus Andrade instead. But I don't think that's gonna happen. And who else is there at flyweight? Everyone else is kind of booked or not really worth fighting. Amanda Ribas is coming off a really good win against Araujo. So, good performance, dominant performance in round 3, especially. So, I say, fuck it. Let's do Fiorot versus Ribas. Get some eye candy on the card, you know what I'm saying, bro? Amanda Ribas. Ha, ha, ha. Yo, but yeah. So, this is my second fight on the card. I think this would be a fun matchup. Probably a pretty close fight, honestly. And if Ribas wins, then she's close to the title, and that's what the UFC wants, and that's what I want in my life, personally. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. All right, that's my second fight. All right, featured fight. Who's the biggest French fighter I can get on this card? It's pretty obvious who he is. He's in the thumbnail. I've decided to put Cyril Gane on this card. He took no damage when he lost to John Jones. He needs to bounce back, and he needs a matchup that's going to prove that he's still the top guy at heavyweight, because he's still ranked #1 somehow, which I find a bit silly. I think he should be ranked below Pavlovich and Blades right now after that loss, but who knows? It's kind of tricky at heavyweight. It's kind of hard to say. Stipe's still top 3 in the rankings, so the rankings are a bit outdated in my opinion. But I've decided to give Cyril Gane a bit of an easier matchup. Still a tough one, still a good test for him, especially after his last loss. I want to do Cyril Gane versus Sergey Spivak as my featured fight because I think this is a really good opportunity for Gane to prove himself. Sergey Spivak on the feet is terrible. He has no defense. His chin is a bit sus. But if he gets a hold of Cyril Gane and proves that he really cannot grapple, he's really just not well-rounded, then it's going to prove a lot, and it's going to bump Cyril Gane severely down the rankings, and we're going to realize, okay, this guy's not going to be a champion. But if he can beat Sergey Spivak, if he can put on a good performance, then the crowd's going to love it, the fans are going to love it, and Lucas Tracy's going to love it, and I think everybody's going to go, okay, maybe Gane can improve, maybe he can get to the title. If Blades beats Jones, or if Jones retires, or Stipe beats Jones, you know, something crazy happens, there's still a chance for Gane. So this is a good proving fight for him against a tough guy that deserves a big fight. He's on a good winning streak. He's looking really good at the moment. And I think Gane versus Spivak is a much better matchup for Gane than a Blades or a Aspinall. Those guys are, I think, are too well rounded to be just a grappler for Gane to fight. So I think this is a much easier matchup for him, with still like that danger there to prove that he's still a top guy at heavyweight. So that's my featured fight: Cyril Gane versus Sergey Spivak. Hopefully, we get a classic Cyril Gane performance and he just fucks up Sergey Spivak, and the crowd loves it. That'd be an awesome fight for a featured fight. Okay. Co-main event. Now, this is apparently, I heard this on a podcast, so maybe this is wrong. Apparently, this fight is likely to happen at UFC 289. I would love to see it happen in Mexico, but I think that Mexico card is already set up. They've already got Volk. They've already got, who else? Grasso, Shevchenko. They've got Brandon Moreno. So they don't really need a fourth title fight. So I'm going to go with Amanda Nunes versus Irene Aldana as my co-main event in Canada. I think that'd be a cool place to put it. Probably going to be a Nunes W. Let's be honest. Does Aldana really deserve this title shot? Not really. I think Aldana should have fought Juliana Pena. Excuse me. I think that would have been a cooler matchup. But I get it. Because the UFC doesn't want to do Pena versus Nunes 3. No one wants to see Pennington fight for the title. So what do you really do besides give Aldana a title shot? So should be a fun scrap. I think this is a perfect co-main event. Should not be headlining a pay-per-view under any circumstances. If UFC announces UFC 289 and this is the headliner, we're in trouble, dude. We are in trouble, bro. Like, imagine this card ends right now. Like, so that's your full card. You get Cyril Gane versus Sergey Spivak as the co-main event, and this is the main event. Like, Jesus, bro. People pay for this. So I'm going to give this as my co-main event, and I'm going to give the people what they want in the main event, okay? I think this guy is going to be rushing back to get his title back. I think you know who I'm talking about. The division is on standstill at the moment. I don't know if they're waiting for Alex Pereira to see what happens with him. Maybe he fights for the belt next. But in the meantime, I think this guy's going to come back sooner than we expect. And I think he's going to Tony Ferguson this. He's going to rush back because he's just built different. I think Yuri Prohaska is coming back soon. I think they're going to do Jamal Hill versus Yuri Prohaska in the next couple of months. So I figure, hey, if he's healthy somehow, let's do it at UFC 289. If not, maybe, if Alex Pereira knocks out Izzy in 2 rounds, you do Hill versus Pereira as the main event of this. I highly doubt that's going to get booked so quickly, but crazier things have happened in the UFC. If not, I just don't feel, I feel like Blachowicz and Ankalaev just don't deserve it. They need to fight each other. I don't know why they haven't fought each other again yet. Maybe the UFC's got plans for both of them. I don't really know what the go is, but I think Prohaska, if he comes back, give him this title shot in June. Let's do it. It's around that summertime that he was talking about coming back. He's a superhuman. He's a Giga Chad to the highest degree. I think he'll make a really quick recovery somehow, but I think Jamal Hill wins this, honestly. But that's another video for another time. That's my main card, okay? We've got Nunes versus Aldana, co-main event. We've got main event Hill versus Prohaska, or maybe Hill versus Pereira, depending on what happens. Featured fight, you've got Cyril Gane versus Sergey Spivak. You've got Manon Fiorot versus Hebas, and then opening the card, you've got Giga Chikadze versus Sadiq Yusuf. So let me get into the prelims now. First off, I'm going to go to the featherweight division. I want a Canadian guy on this card, and I think a really fun Canadian fighter that's a bit underrated. Needs to be rebuilding himself a little bit. I want to get Mean Hakeem on this card. I want to get Hakeem Dawood versus Josh Culibao. I think this is a really fun fight at featherweight. Culibao had a really good submission at UFC 284. I think Hakeem Dawood is coming off a loss right now. I'm not really sure. I know he's kind of lost a bit of momentum. But yeah, so I think this is a really fun fight. Good matchup for both these guys. And really suits the whole vibe of a Canadian prelim fight, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like this would be a really fun scrap. And I think the crowd will really be enjoying this one. It's winnable for Dawood, which what I like. It's winnable. Culibao was having some trouble with Baszler early, so it's a good fight for both of them. And that's my prelim number 1, okay? My second prelim fight, I would be so excited for this fight if it got announced. Like, I wanted this fight on the main card, but then the other fights that I made, I was just like, look, I can't really put this on the main card. I can't justify putting this on the main card. This would be such a fun fight, though. I think this has potential to be fight of the night. I'm going to go to the bantamweight division. I'm going to go Davey Grant versus Javid Baszler, dude. I think this is such a fun matchup. I feel like both of these guys are on track to fight each other. The winner of this is getting a top 15 opponent for sure. Maybe a loser of a Ricky Simone Song Yadong. Or maybe, winner gets to fight Umar or something like that. I don't really know what the go is, but regardless, this would be a fucking banger, dude. Like, I could see this being a crazy fucking fight. Like, Davey Grant just finding a random, like, knockdown on Javid Baszler. You know, Baszler just taking him down, submitting him, like, after a tough fight. Like, I feel like this would be such a cool fight. I can't see this being a boring fight whatsoever. I think this would be a really badass matchup. So this is my prelim that I would this is my prelim that I hold near and dear to my heart. This is like my favorite fight that I made on this card. I got to be honest, you know. Besides the Amanda Hebus fight, you know, but that's for a different reason. Okay, that's for a very different reason. This one's for the actual entertainment of it. Okay, so Davey Grant, Javid Bashir at UFC, make it happen right now. I swear to God. Okay, co-main event of the prelims. I'm gonna go to the middleweight division. I'm gonna get two ranked guys in there against each other. I think this makes a lot of sense. And if we're going with the French kind of vibes, the Cyril Gane's on the card, Fiorot's on the card, I want to get a French guy on there. I want to get Nassourdine Imavov on this card, and I want to get him up against Andre Muniz. I think Muniz didn't really take that much damage, coming off a loss to Brendan Allen. These guys are two at the bottom of the rankings. They don't have a fight. They're both coming off pretty bad losses, so they need to bounce back. I figure why not throw them against each other? I think this is a good chance for Imavov to prove himself again in the rankings and prove why he's ranked in the middleweight division. And it's a good way for Muniz to bounce back as well, because he was looking like a really dangerous contender until that fight. So we need to see if that was an off night for him or something like that. But I think this makes sense makes a lot of sense ranking wise. And yeah, bro, I think this would be a decent matchup. Not the most exciting fight ever, but you know, Imavov is always going to be fun. He's going to have the energy of the crowd behind him. He's going to be a bit of a dick, so it should be a good fight. That's my co-main event of the prelims. My headliner, bro. I am very, very confident in this fight happening. I'm very excited for this fight, but I also think this fight is going to get made. I'm recording this, by the way, on the 27th of March. I'm recording this on the 27th of March. So if the UFC makes this fight, I am a fucking genius, okay? My headliner of the prelims, I'm going to go to the flyweight division. One guy who just had a fight fall through and is a very, very exciting flyweight prospect, and another guy who is one of the most exciting guys at flyweight. He either knocks you out or gets knocked out every single time. I'm going to book them together because they both need a fight right now. Let's do Matt Schnell versus Manel Kape. Bro, this is a fight to fucking make, dude. Kape just lost his fight with Alex Perez. Like, the fight got cancelled. He needs a fight. He's in shape. He's ready to go. They're going to turn him around quick. Matt Schnell's talking about he's coming back soon. Let's do this in Canada, bro. Headline of the prelims. This would be such a fucking crazy fight, dude. I think Manel Kape would smash him. But it'd be an awesome fight while it lasts, dude. I want to see Matt Schnell versus Manel Kape. I'm very, very excited about this fight. This one and the Davey Grant versus Javid Bashir fight, I'm like more excited for than the whole main card. So that's my prelims for the UFC 289 card. Let me know what you think of this card down below. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Comment the fights that you want to see down below. Give me your predictions for these fights that I made as well, boys. And yeah, make sure you subscribe if you like the matchmaking. Drop a like, all that stuff. Go follow me on the gram, all that stuff. And yeah, see you in the next video, boys. Goodbye.